Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm Paul McCarthy, and today I'm joined by Jack Andrews from the Handrail People. Jack, it's great to have you with us today. Could you just start off by telling us about your business, please?
Yeah, thank you, Paul. So my name's Jack. I'm the director of the Handrail People, and we are a small family business in Worthing, West Sussex. We specialise in the fabrication, installation and supply of bespoke metal handrails.
Is there any particular market? Are you commercial or are you B2C?
So it varies, yeah. So we predominantly at the moment we are domestic, but we also undertake commercial works, and that's something that we're hoping to grow in the coming years. E-commerce shop as well, so that's an avenue that we're looking to go into at the moment.
I'm assuming the commerce side of things is sort of national. What about the sort of installation? What's your geography for that side of things?
So our installation area is mainly the south. So we cover around a 2.5 hour radius from Worthing, so all the way up to near Watford, but as far as Berkshire, Kent, everything in between, really.
Okay, great.
So yeah.
Did you start the business, or did you sort of come into the business? How did that happen?
My dad started the business actually. So he started the business in 2003. He sadly passed away in 2016, and myself and my mum took over in 2017.
Okay. And was you working in the business before then?
Yeah, so growing up, I had a bit of a hand in the business. I spent a couple of years on and off with my dad. So I had a good understanding of a business already. But after that, I went off, done my own thing. So I was working in investment services,
Really?
mainly on a customer service basis. So working with customers, facilitating trades. So that's where I honed my customer service skills. So yeah, and then once my dad passed away, the business started to go into disarray without him at the helm. So it was a choice of really winding up or stepping in. So I chose to step in and haven't looked back since.
Was it a difficult decision at the time, or was it quite straightforward?
No, not really, to be honest. But I felt like it was something I could do. I saw a lot of potential within the business. And also, it would have been really sad to have let his legacy dwindle away with him. So yeah, it was something that was really important to me and I was really passionate about. And I think that's really helped me to drive the business forward since then.
And obviously, there's other companies in your market. What's different about the Handrail People? What's your secret sauce?
Our secret sauce. I would say really reliability and trust is a massive thing. Especially considering our demographic. So we work really, really hard on our reputation. We've got great reviews. We've got lots of really loyal customers, and we initially worked a lot from recommendations. So that served us really well. I think in general as well, we do strive for excellence. So customer service, really good products. It's always something that's been of the utmost important to us.
And has there been a particular person or people in your sort of journey through your career and then taking over running the business that's been important and inspired you?
I've had a lot of really good mentors over the years, so I've been really blessed in that respect. I would say, obviously, seeing my dad growing up running a business, obviously a massive inspiration to me. But also my brother as well. So my brother's a budding entrepreneur in his own right. He's got a relatively successful business, and yeah, seeing my two, role models working away passionately and hustling, that was always something that was very inspiring for me.
And since you've been running the Handrail People, what's been your sort of biggest learning, would you say?
I mean, every day is a learning curve. That's for sure. But I think when you set out, I feel like you set goals and you feel like it's going to be quite a linear process. And I think you soon discover that actually there's lots of twists and turns in the road, constantly having to readjust your course and tweak and perfect things. And I think I don't know if many companies really end up where they initially set off to be. So that's been a big learning.
And you didn't expect that at all?
Um, maybe I'm slightly naive, but no. I mean, in my naivety, I probably didn't. You know, I had these goals and I had this destination in mind. But obviously, yeah, life throws curveballs and you go off in different directions. And so yeah, we are where we are.
And talking about challenges, there's been quite a few for businesses over the last few years, probably starting with Brexit, then into the pandemic, and more recently, challenges of the economy. What changes have you had to make in the business to deal with those challenges?
I mean, in terms of COVID, we were one of the lucky few. So it helped us with our sales. So it created quite a big demand for us because people were spending more time in houses and gardens. So in that aspect, it served us quite well. So very grateful for that. For Brexit, there were massive supply chain issues for us initially. So that was something that we had to work around, and we had to look at different suppliers and change the way we were working a bit. And then most recently with the economic crisis, that was quite difficult for us as well. So obviously there was a decrease in demand along with high inflation. So I think the biggest change that we've had to make across the board really throughout those periods is just keeping a much closer eye on our costs, especially material prices. We definitely got stung initially. So yeah, that's been a massive change for us really.
So are you working with more suppliers than you did a few
Yeah,
years ago?
working with more suppliers, trying to be more cost effective, you know, constantly keeping an eye on those material prices. Whereas for years and years, they remained pretty stagnant. They were, you know, so that, and then all of a sudden, almost overnight, the prices just flew up. So yeah.
And looking into the future, Jack, what do you see as the challenges over the next 5 years for your business and potentially your industry as well?
I touched on it a little bit there, but supply chain, it was going to be something that could prove to be really challenging. I think the industry as a whole is quite vulnerable in that a lot of our steel now is exported from China. So with any economic uncertainty, especially, you know, the war in Ukraine has definitely exposed a lot of cracks in supply chains, and that could be something that manifests. So it's trying to have contingency plans in that scenario.
What sort of contingency plans are you sort of thinking about over that period?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't have many, in honesty. But I'm looking at different materials, looking at other markets. So I know America exports quite a lot of stainless steel and other metals. So yeah, it's just trying to diversify really. And that's the only option we have.
And looking more on a positive side, what are your aspirations for the business over the next 5 years?
I'd really like to grow our installation area. So eventually to be nationwide. So that's been the goal for a number of years, which is a massive undertaking, but it's something I'm relishing. But also diversifying our e-commerce product range. I think that's got a lot of potential. So yeah, that's something else I'm really looking forward to getting into. Yeah.
That's growth from here on, is it?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the way to go, isn't it?
Brilliant. And if you could start again, would you do anything differently?
Yeah. So listening to my gut. That's yeah. If I could do one thing differently again, I think listening to my gut more. I think there's been a few times in the past where I haven't listened to my intuition and that stung me. So that's definitely something I would change going back.
Right, just listening to your experience, what you've learned, and okay, interesting.
Absolutely.
And what would you tell your 18? What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
I'd say don't wait for the right time to do anything. I'd just say just get started, go for it, learn from your mistakes. Trial and error is very valuable. So yeah, just go for it.
Brilliant. Do you think you've been, 'cause those two areas sort of sound like you might have been a bit cautious over time? Is that,
Yeah,
yeah?
definitely, and it's something that even now I have to push myself. Yeah, so sometimes I think naturally we try and stay in our comfort zones, and it's pushing through that. Trusting your instincts and just going after things, chasing them, as opposed to waiting for them to come to you.
That's a really common sort of area. I think a lot of, you get quite a lot of people who are quite cautious, quite risk averse, and not surprisingly after what we've all been through over recent years. Is there any techniques any things you've tried to do to make that easier?
Um, no, not really. It's just life experience. I think you just have to grow more resilient. Um, as I say, and just trust in your abilities more. I think that just comes with maturity more than anything.
And is there any sort of new projects, new product lines, or anything like that you'd like to elaborate on, Jack?
So yeah, we've got some big commercial projects going on over the summer. Some hospices, some schools. So as I mentioned earlier, this is an area that we're trying to grow at the moment. So that's really exciting. But also developing and adding more products to our e-commerce shop. That's another thing I'm really excited about. So yeah.
And if people want to get in contact with Jack, what's the best way of getting in contact with you?
If you want to contact me, you can contact me through LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. Otherwise, you can visit our website, which is the handrailpeople.co.uk, and there's lots of contact details on there as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jack. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank
And
you.
all the best for the future.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.